Hello, welcome to our betting review. This is our betting review for the Four Nations. Well, the hype's finally over, and the battle's commenced tomorrow night as Australia take on Scotland. We'll not get into the argument about eligibility, but this is quite a decent Scotland side. If you have a look, they've got the likes of Tierney and Bradley from these shores, and obviously, some big names from the NRL, like Sir Lachlan Coote and Kane Lynn. Some decent names, and it's not a bad little side Scotland have got. Obviously, the Aussies should win this quite comfortably, yeah. But no, they've rested the likes of Thurston and Inglis, but obviously it's week one. They'll come over here, they should all be quite fresh, so you do expect them. The handicap's 44, obviously. I do kind of think that Scotland could stay inside that. You do wonder later on in the game if the Aussies might run away with it. So if you fancy back in Scotland, he could be looking at about 20 points on the first half handicap. You could probably keep this quite tight early on. It's like I said, it's really not a bad side, the Scotland one. When you look at it in full, again, we're not going to get into the eligibility rules or not, whether these people are actually Scottish, but they're certainly going to represent the country well. If you're going to back the Australia, the 44, it's a big handicap that in week one. It's going to be a long 4 weeks for all the sides. They've obviously got the bigger games to come. Maybe I think the total points line is about 62 in this, so. Think about it. If Scotland were to get a couple of tries, the points that Australia would have to get to win by more than 44 would go over 62. Obviously, they'd have to win 54-10 if Scotland to get 10 points, which is 64. So obviously that's over 62 and a half. So if you're going to back Australia, I'd probably rather back the overs on the total points of 62 and a half. I think I'd probably favour that way anyway. But like I said, 50-1 Scotland, obviously there's no chance of that. Obviously there's value elsewhere. The likes of Duggan, he's 9-1 for the first try. That's not too bad. Anytime scorers, we've got the likes of Brian Bradley, he's 9-2. He's got a few tries when he was played for Huddersfield. I think he'll play in this game. He's obviously there's problems. I think there's been a few problems with him in defence, but no problem with him going forward. I think 9-2, decent for Bradley to score a try any time in the game. Tierney's about 5-2. They scored for Wigan in the grand final. Like I said, it'll be a really good game. I'm looking forward to this one. Obviously, with Australia expected to run up a cricket score, you might be looking at hat tricks. You can get Mansour, he's about 11-2 for a hat trick. But like I said, the really big stuff starts on Saturday. Obviously, England against New Zealand. Probably the biggest game these two have played since the 2013 World Cup final. Certainly on these shows. Obviously, England won the series 2-1 last year against the two sides. Obviously, New Zealand are a lot stronger this year than they were last year. Obviously, there were a few players missed the total tour last year. I think they were quite solid 2-point favourites at the start of the week. New Zealand. I think since England looked quite comfortable, quite slick against France. I know that the opposition a bit different, but they still looked a bit comfortable. There was shocking conditions, so we've got these two pretty much level. So, but like I say, you can still get about 6-5 for England. If you fancy them you can get them. If you shop around, I think you can get them giving away 2 points starting about even money. I do think this will be really, really tight. I really can't split them. Same as the bookies. If pushed, I'd probably think the value lies with backing England getting a 2 point start and even money. If Australia to win it by a drop goal, you still get paid out with it. I really can't split them. This really could go either way. It should be a fantastic game. The first try scorers, you've got Rapana, he's about 10-1, he's the favourite. I probably prefer Nightingale, 11-1. Obviously for the lines, you've got so Brian Hall scored twice again last week. Obviously, something happens to Ryan Hall. It's been disappointing for Leeds probably over the last couple of years. Okay, last year he was part of the treble-winning side, but he certainly didn't excel. Apart from obviously he scored the "It's All Over" try that won them the Shield, turned the helicopter around. But when he plays for England, Ryan Hall's a different beast altogether. He's a fantastic finisher at this level. He's proven at this level. I think 11-1 for all. That's decent odds for the first try. And I say like Nightingale as well. Anytime, we're like an anytime try. You've got Sam Burgess. He scored in the semi-final at Wembley, the heartbreaking semi-final when New Zealand pinched it right at the end. He's 4-1 for a try anytime in the game. I certainly think that's decent value. Probably the best value of the weekend for me, Burgess to score a try, the England captain. About 4-1 anytime in the game. Man of the match, you've got Johnson. He's favourite 7-1. It's really, really hard to overlook him. He broke England's hearts at Wembley 2013 and that Saturday afternoon. Certainly broke mine. It would have been a tremendous week for our game if we'd been looking forward to a final against the Aussies. It wasn't to be. He scored right at the end. I think it's really hard to overlook him at 7-1. He's favourite for a reason. I think that's fair enough. I think Widdop's probably shortest price to the England player. He's about 10-1 for the first try. But for me, it has to be Josh Hodgson. This guy could have won the Dally M medal over in Australia. He's been absolute sensational this year for the Raiders, and I think he's 14-1. I think that's really, really good value. Clark looks decent again at about 16s, but I think 14-1 Josh Hodgson and Sean Johnson at 7s. They'll be my first man of the match picks for this one. I don't really think you can look any further than that. The points line is about 36.5. Like I said, expect it to be really tight. Maybe it's just dip under that, depending on what the weather's like. But possibly, I think that's probably about right, 36.5. But it was probably just under. But it's going to be a fantastic weekend. Like I say, probably think probably Scotland on the first half handicap in the first game. I think probably England getting a 2 point start. I think really, really could go either way. This one should be a cracking game. I really can't wait for it to start. Should be a tremendous 4 weeks of our greatest game. But like I say, oh sorry, I forgot to mention the first game. We've got the man of the match in that one. I think Smith's favourite at 5-2, but I probably prefer Cronk at 4-1 in the Australia Scotland game. I think that's obviously not really worth looking at the Scottish man of the match. If you think it's probably better off just backing it, win the game at 50-1 if you're that way inclined. But like yeah, so I'd probably be Cronk at 4-1 and probably be more picking that one. But like I said, I've had really, really good weekend of rugby league. I'll be back on the website and back home next week. Back on the website, so look out for that. And as always, please gamble responsibly. We'll see you later.